What's up everybody, it's Park with BI Elite. I'm excited to bring you the winning Power BI report announcement video for our second competition that we hosted over the last couple weeks. This competition was based on Spotify music data, so students connected to this dataset and were able to create some amazing Power BI reports. Just as a reminder, these competitions are run the first Monday of every month, so check back in January if you want to compete in our third data competition. Now let's get to the winning reports for this second contest. Just for a little background, in this contest, students connected to a dataset that contained over 160,000 songs worth of data. This dataset was a lot of fun and it shows based on the creativity of these winning reports. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first winning report comes from Michał Bicki, and Michał was actually a winner in the first competition as well. His first report for the Google Analytics competition was amazing, but this one might be even better. Let's open this one up and start digging into what makes this so good. From the home screen, you're presented with two paths in which you want to go down. Check out some of the details he's added here. There are hover effects over these buttons that kind of make it a little bit more interactive and lively. I'm going to go ahead and start with this first section, what makes people love songs. And this is a really cool walkthrough of how to make a song that will also be popular. So it's kind of presented to you as the user as it's teaching you how you would create a popular song. And this is all based on the dataset. Right up front, it tells you that most songs are not popular, as you can see based on the trends. The number of songs based on popularity, that's increasing to the right. So most of these songs fall under the 50% popularity mark. And I see that Michał has added this column to this line chart. That's a really cool trick to show basically a value on the x-axis, really cool stuff. So let's continue on with this next page navigation button. So this tab is going to explain a little bit about the popularity based on the time of a song. We see that there are some very, very long songs. So if we make this time frame a little bit smaller, we see that popularity increases up to a point somewhere around 230 seconds and starts to fall off again. So nice visualization comparing popularity to time. And you'll see that each of these tabs just kind of compares the popularity to a different metric. For example, popularity by loudness, popularity by energy. But the entire time this report is kind of recommending how you would make a song that's popular just based off the trends themselves. So we have loudness and energy, another tab for tempo and danceability. Let's go down one more, see if there's more. Tonality versus valence. And valence is basically showing the emotion or mood of a song, such as happy or sad. So it's interesting to see that the popularity doesn't necessarily increase as a song gets more happy. It actually seems like this section here, where the emotion isn't extremely happy, it's kind of neutral, but more towards the sadder side, is actually more popular than the happy songs. That's interesting to see. So next page here, acousticness and instrumentalness, just a lot of interesting ways to break down the popularity metric. Next page we have basically this key influencers page, and this is a screenshot because key influencers will not work in a publicly hosted Power BI report, but I do like the addition here in order to get to some next level information using that built-in AI within Power BI. But I want to kind of get to another section here that really caught my eye. So now we're on the stats page, which is the second kind of track here. So if we were to go to the song statistics, we'd end up here. So we can break down the data based on genres or artists. We can go into subgenres if we pick the genres, or we can go explore the artist's songs if we select an artist. I'm going to select a single artist here. Let's select Johnny Cash, for example. We can explore the artist's songs, see their aggregated metrics such as total songs, average popularity, average loudness, average BPM. That's all really cool, but the really awesome part of this report is the ability to drill down into a single track and then play it directly in the Power BI report. So let's select a single song such as Jackson here, drill into the track details, and you'll see in the top right when we're on the song detail page, there is a Spotify music player that you can just click on it and play a 30-second clip of that selected song. That is an amazing addition to this report. I'm not going to click it for fear of song copyright within this video, but go and play with this report and find some of your favorite songs, and you can play them directly in the Power BI report. I thought that was the coolest addition to this report. And then finally, he has an About This Report page where he provides some contact links. Also, he's a Power BI YouTuber as well. His channel is Data Maniacs. Definitely go and check him out. He does some amazing work. But that's all I have to say about this amazing report. It's easy to see why this report was amongst the winners. Let's go ahead and get on to our second winner. Our second winning report comes from Banuka Kurinde, and there's a lot of great stuff in this report as well. Let's go ahead and open this up. So from the very beginning, you are presented with a really clean report that contrasts really nicely against the dark background. I do like this visual up top because it shows you the trends of these 5 metrics over time. So as you can see, just a quick insight is that acousticness used to be really high up until the 60s, and it starts to fall. Meanwhile, danceability seems to be on the rise. It's really cool to see the relation between those metrics. But my favorite part of this report, I think, is the Smart Music Finder. This is a really nicely laid out page that allows the user to make multiple slicer selections, and then the report presents recommended songs based on your selections. For example, if I wanted to come in here and say, hey, show me a song from the 60s that is happy, I don't want any explicit language, and I want it really danceable. For instance, we have 2 songs that fit that profile of what I chose. I could go check those songs out and see if they're to my liking. That's super cool. I think I might try to use this myself and find some more music. But for now, let's go ahead and continue with the report. So another thing I really like about this report is how easy it is to navigate. So you have all of these buttons, kind of as I just showed, and you have a home tab or a home button on each tab as well, just to kind of take you back. It just works very nicely. Banuka goes into some more advanced analytics here. I really do like how there's just really a single visual that is showing on this page. It takes all of the user's focus directly to this visual. He also has some dynamic measures here, such as we're looking at how the duration has changed from 1920 through 2020. But we can see explicitness, see how it's skyrocketed as of recently. Speechiness, which we can see basically how many songs have lyrics these days as opposed to previously. And if a song is live or not, see that breakdown. We can see how tempo has changed over the years. It's getting increasingly fast, and loudness as well seems to be increasing as well. So that's a pretty cool display of this data here. Let's finish up with a couple more tabs here. Trend analytics. This is pretty similar, just one main visual that is taking all of our attention with our ability to select dynamic metrics here. I do like that. And finally, with the top artists tab, just a simple visualization showing artists with most songs and artists ranked by popularity. Really cool high-level view of some of these artists. So that's about it for this report. I thought this was done really nicely. I do like the color gradients and just the overall color contrast of this report. It pops a lot, feels really good. Well done to Banuka. And if we get out of this report, you can find Banuka's LinkedIn information below the report. And finally, let's get into our third winning report. This report comes from Roman Singele, and this was another great entry as well. This was a little bit on the shorter side, but it's presented in such a clean way. I just thought it was done really nicely. So across the top, we have some high-level metrics. I love this image that Roman used for the genres. I thought that was hilarious. But the really cool thing about this tab is you do have dynamic measures here. So if you want to see, let's say, danceability across the years, you can easily switch that metric. But I like how Roman has added the definition of the metric to this selection as well. So when you select danceability, it's going to explain exactly what danceability is. If you select liveness, it's going to explain exactly what liveness is. So the user always knows what they are seeing. I think that's just a nice touch. Roman has also added a really cool report page tooltip. It shows you just a lot of the information about the year that you have selected. For example, we're looking at 1993. It shows you just the average metrics for that year, just breaking down each individual metric. It even shows you the tempo, the mode, and the average length of a song for that year. So a really cool use of report page tooltips there, and also that one looks very clean as well. There's a couple other tabs included in this report. This page also lets you filter down the songs and then drill into a single song. But the piece here that I love the most was the use of emojis here in order to select the mood of the song. For example, if I want an extremely sad song for whatever reason, you can select this emoji. I can even search for artists. I could search for Johnny Cash again and select one of his songs. Let's search for Johnny Cash. And now if I click on one of these songs, I can drill into the song details, and there's a song detail page which looks really amazing as well. I like how everything's laid out here, but the really cool piece here is that you can launch this song directly in Spotify. So now if I click on this big button in the middle, it's going to open up Spotify, and it's going to be filtered down to the song that I chose. Again, I'm not going to play that for the copyright. But that's a really cool piece just to open up that song quickly in Spotify, and then you can navigate back to your report. So again, awesome job to Roman. There are a ton of details in this report that make me just instantly love interacting with the report. Great job to all of our contest winners. And before I forget, honorable mention to a couple more report developers who did an amazing job but just missed out on the top 3, and that was Kyle D. Bernardi and Bill Skelly, who also won last month's competition. Both Kyle and Bill produced reports that provided very in-depth analysis of the Spotify data, but they just fell out of the top 3, but really amazing job to them, so I wanted to give them a shout out. So again, if you do want to check out these reports, definitely go to this link, training.baelite.com/contest to Spotify music analysis. The link will be down in the description of this video. You can play with some of these reports and just kind of get a feel of some things you can do in Power BI. Honestly, I'm picking up on some tricks that these developers are putting into their reports, so it's really beneficial to me as well, and maybe it will be to you. If you do want to compete in our next month's competition, make sure you check back closer to the beginning of January. Our competition will be starting the first Monday of January, which I believe is January 4th. So make sure you check back in time before that competition starts. And again, great job to all the participants for this data competition.